Chapter 2 opens in the hush that follows impact, when the body is quiet, but the mind is anything but. For injured athletes, pain is rarely just pain. It becomes a story, a prediction, a prophecy whispered into every movement.
A twinge stops being a twinge. It becomes evidence. A stiff step, a tight turn, a strange pull in the muscle. Suddenly, every sensation feels like a warning from the future.
And this is not weakness, and it is not drama. It is vigilance. After injury, the nervous system sharpens its gaze, scanning for threat, trying to protect you until protection slowly starts to resemble suspicion.
Which is why this chapter matters. Because if you do not learn the language of pain early, pain will speak for you. And most athletes were never taught the difference between alarm and injury.
So here is the sentence to place like a lantern in the dark. Hurt is not always harm. Simple words, but life-changing ones. They interrupt the reflex that says pain always means damage, always means stop, always means something is terribly wrong.
Sometimes pain does mean harm. If you touch a hot stove, pain is doing its job. It points directly to damage and says clearly, move.
But recovery is more complicated than that. Once injury has happened, pain often becomes a louder signal than the actual threat deserves. The system remembers, and memory can make the alarm ring long after the fire is out.
Think of a smoke detector that once caught a real fire. After that, even burnt toast can make it scream. Not because breakfast is deadly, but because the detector has learned caution through fear.
So too with the athlete's body. The nervous system logs the injury as catastrophe, then keeps circling the scene. Weeks later, months later, it still treats ordinary sensation like a 5-alarm emergency.
And that is where people get trapped. They feel something real, then assign it the worst possible meaning. Not because they are foolish, but because no one taught them how to interpret pain without fear.
For athletes, this becomes even more dangerous. They were raised on slogans. Push through. No pain, no gain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. All of it sounds heroic, until recovery begins.
Then the old mindset splits you in two. Either you bulldoze through every warning and risk re-injury, or you freeze at every sensation and lose trust in your body completely. Both roads begin in the same misunderstanding.
You learned to react to pain. You did not learn to read it. And reading it, slowly, honestly, skillfully, is part of healing.
So ask 3 questions when sensation appears. Is this sharp, sudden, and new? Or is it familiar? Effort, stiffness, sensitivity? Does it ease with movement and warm-up, or does it stay steady and worsen?
And then the deepest question of all. Am I responding to what I feel, or to the story I am telling about what it means? Because often the suffering is not born in the tissue. It is born in the narrative wrapped around the sensation.
This means I'll never come back. This means the surgery failed. This means I'm about to break again. Those are stories. They may feel true, but they are not the same thing as the ache itself.
The nervous system, after injury, becomes an overprotective guard. It learns the movement, the region, the memory of the moment, and it paints that territory in bright red threat colors. Even when the tissue heals, the alarm may keep sounding.
That is the trap. The MRI may look clean, the ligament may be repaired, the bone may be fused, and still the athlete feels pain, panics, and believes the body has failed again.
But sometimes the tissue is ready before the signaling is. Sometimes the body has healed while the nervous system is still living in yesterday. That gap is where confidence erodes, where recovery stretches, where fear starts driving the process.